So, welcome to this webinar. We are going to talk about this new FITMAN specific enabler, which is called FITMAN CAM, Collaborative Business Process Management, FITMAN BPM. And so let's start by a short explanation on what this specific enabler actually is. This webinar is a collaborative webinar because I will give you the big picture, but then the actual demo will be run by my colleague Jesus from ATOS, and it will be clear in a short time why this separation of concerns. So what the FITMAN Collaborative Business Process Management is, it is a platform for designing and executing business processes in a semantically enhanced way, and also using some specific features of the platform container, which I will explain in a short time. It is targeted to distributed organizations, like, for example, virtual factories or large enterprises. So places where there are several enterprises involved or several independent business units. This is a web tool. You have nothing to install locally on your workstation. You can access it from anywhere. And the platform is based actually on an existing fireware generic enabler from ATOS, which is called Compel. I don't know if all of you are familiar with fireware, but just to spend a few words, fireware, you know, is a technological platform for future internet. And in the scope of the fireware project, several generic enablers were already developed and released. And what we have done here is to wrap an existing generic enabler, which is Compel, into a web portal-like container to provide some additional functionalities, some, let's say, meta functionalities. So let's have a look at the features. What we can do with the Compel generic enabler. First of all, we can model business processes, and we can do that by composition. So it means that we are going to access a catalog of existing services and compose our business process using a user-friendly graphical development environment, which is web-based. So, as I said, we have a catalog, we have web services in this catalog, and so we can call these web services from our business process in an automated way, but more importantly, the selection process in the modeling phase is done leveraging semantics, which means that web services are annotated in the catalog, and our tasks in the business process are annotated as well, and we have a reference ontology so that we can match these annotations and find the most suitable web service for each of our automated tasks. So as I said, we can also automate the call of these services because we not only have a design environment for business processes, we also have an execution environment. So it means that when we have designed, modeled the process, we can deploy it on a runtime engine, and after we have deployed, we can execute it. We can we can have human-oriented tasks, but also service tasks. So service tasks are those where this binding between the model and the real world service is done and is executed at runtime. This runtime engine also has a web user interface so that you can interact with these human-oriented tasks using a web interface. You can monitor the execution of your process instances, and of course you can manage them. And the last but not least, all this is integrated with your corporate IT environment or even your virtual enterprise IT environment, which means that when you assign responsibilities for each task, for each human-oriented task in your business process, you are basically deciding which are the user roles which are responsible to execute that specific task. And these roles are coming from your corporate or virtual enterprise level user database. So what are the benefits of this platform? So it means that you can have a separation of concerns in the development of the business process, because this is a quite complex activity to develop a business process in a formal notation. Usually it requires multidisciplinary teams so that you will have the business level expert and you will have your ICT expert, and there are different roles, but the good point of having a collaborative environment, web-based environment, where different users can work and refine the same business process design is exactly this. So the support that this platform is going to give you is especially related to user profiling. So deciding which type of user can do what in this process. Of course, it is a user-friendly tool. It is, as you will see, the modeling, it's very graphical oriented. Basically, it is all based on drag and drop. You drag tasks on a canvas, choosing them from a palette. And then, of course, it is universally accessible. So you can reach this tool from everywhere. Then, to be a little more specific on the technological part of the specific enabler, let's have a look on the base software assets on which it was built. The container, the web container is Liferay, is the portal server community edition. It is an open source portal that I think most of you already know. Then there is the activity BPM platform, which is the another open source product which is capable of the modeling and execution of BPMN 2.0 processes. We have the Sesame ontology server for the storing and management of the reference ontology that I mentioned before, that you will soon see in action in the demo. And finally, we had also leveraged the CAS, the Central Authentication Service from JZig, which provides the single sign-on and user profiling capabilities. On that, of course, both ATOS and engineering had developed their own extensions. And ATOS was focused on the extension of the activity engine, while in engineering we extended the central authentication service and LifeRay. All this is based on two very well-known open standards, which are BPMN 2.0 and RDF, the Resource Description Framework, which is used both for defining the reference ontology and for annotating the resources. This is a very high-level architectural view of how these components are bound together. As you see, at the core we have the ATOS compel engine, and it is framed inside a LifeRay web portal instance, which also provides some very basic web collaboration tools like a wiki, a forum, and document management facilities. Under this layer, we have a persistence layer, which is on 3 levels. We have the web portal database, we have the BPM database, which is the activity database, and we have the semantic knowledge base, which is Sesame. And on top, we have the federated single sign-on. Federated means that we don't have, like in the classic single sign-on scenario, which is supported by the stock JASIC Central Authentication Service. We don't have a single user repository. Instead, we have the possibility of federating several user repositories, for example, from several different enterprises which participate in the same virtual enterprise. And all these can be easily integrated into the platform with a simple connector architecture, so that they can bind their, let's say, LDAP or Active Directory systems, corporate systems, directly into the platform, so that the roles that users need to operate inside the FITMAN specific enabler can be managed, can be assigned and managed within the enterprise. So the specific enabler will be provisioned, will be released as a virtual machine image in 2 versions, a virtual box and a KVM, so that you can choose also the technology that better suits your environment. Basically, the difference is that with VirtualBox you can deploy on any host, Linux, Windows, or even Mac, while the KVM is more restricted because it is a standard Linux extension. You need a 64 bits Linux system to operate this. But we provide an image in this format also because it is a standard format used in several cloud infrastructure, like, for example, OpenStack. We are also planning to share a common instance, like a sort of experimentation facility, a sandbox where you can experiment without installing anything on your systems, but this is still to be defined. We still have to find the proper way of doing it. And finally, before going to the demo part, some words about terms and conditions, which means licensing. This, of course, will be free of use because it is open source, but inside the FITMAN program, we also provide free support until, of course, the end of FIPPP. Outside of the FIPPP, of course, this is open source software, so you can download it, you can install it, you can even modify the code, take into account that the Compel generic enabler goes under JPL license, so it means that it also applies to any other software that is bundled with it. This is the reason why the JPL applies to the overall product, even if inside we have several different open source components with different licensing terms, like, for example, Apache or something like that. So I think that this is all for the intro, and we can start with the specific presentation of Compel and then with the demo. So I will leave the floor to my colleague Jesus.
Okay, thank you, Mauro. Hello, everyone. I'm Jesus from ATOS. I will give you an overview, first an overview of the Compel GE, and then we're going to see a small demo with two business processes to know exactly what the Compel offers and how we can work with it. So let's start with the First of all, the motivation of this generic enabler is mainly to solve the gap that they has today between the multidisciplinary teams, because for one side we have the business analysts, and for the other one we have the service integrators. The first one more related, more focused on the business, and the second one focused on the technology and also in the new technologies. And then here they have very big gap because there is not always talking about the same. So with this component we will try to solve this gap. The problem of this is there is a lot of dispersed knowledge because the domain-specific business process and contextualizations more in the business area versus all the technologies, the software-based technology, web service, with the AI, SOAP, XML, CD, and all related technologies focus on the internet and also in the distributed services. This is the motivation. Then next slide.
Jesus, I think you have control. You should have the control. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Then another important point is the limitation of the business process modeling. The technical limitations today is the discoverability advertising. It's very limited to take the Internet of Services. Also the obsolete services registries in the UDTI, more related to the other web services. Then we have the incorporation, the new trends in service of component, Internet of Services, ROA, new technologies like REST, mashups, etc. And for sure the business process modeling versus the SWA composition languages, VPN versus VPL. The first one is based on the standard graphical notation, and also the technology and tooling complexity offered by the second one. In this way we try to solve all of these limitations and doing more efficient all the composition of these business processes. Okay. The challenges we have with this generic enabler is mainly to scale into the web of services, also call it Internet of Services, Web 2.0, crowdsourcing, and as I said, automated process, okay, the business process modeling at the same and the runtime. For this, we implement automatic discovery, like more related to the SAC versus approximated matchmaking, automating the work and data flow, and for sure the dynamic runtime, the late binding, rebinding as self capabilities like healing, compensation, etc. In this way, we can see after in the demo how we can to annotate the different services and tasks, and also how to dynamically we can to binding different services that are going to enable to solve specific problems. Then the solution offered by Compel is, as Mauro says before, is an open and multi-platform solution to the same business processes, BPM and BPL, by the aggregation of the SOAP-based services. In this way, the processes are designed by people in charge to the business analyst, the analysis of the business, that they are very different to the people in charge to develop and they offer certain technical solutions for at low level. In this case, the process and their tasks are defined using their domain vocabulary based on the semantics. And then for each task, also processes and other business process notations, the leak cementing opposition suggests the most matching services. When we have annotated the task, we can search which services located in the repository are going to solve this or to give solution for this specific task. And in this way, the services we will locate it in a centralized repository. It's out of the scope of this webinar, but the idea is to have a lot of services very well identified and also annotated in the in a specific format that we want to store in a centralized repository where we're going to search which services are able to solve or to give solution to a specific task. Then the main feature of the Compel will also be the editor. In this way, it's cross-grained semantics. We can annotate semantically the task, descriptions, the process, the requirements, the preference, the context. We have a domain ontology-based annotations. As we can see before, we can select or we can have specific ontology vocabularies to annotate the different services. Then we have an exact and approximate dynamic discovery. Today we have asymmetrically binding. We can see before how can do the binding, the semi-automatic binding, because after the binding we have to do one small modification. And for sure we have an automated data flow generation and executable BPM generation to run directly inside with different BPM engines. Also, we have a registry for process notation and service descriptions. We have we offer persistence to have all the information of the different tasks annotated in a database. And the last thing is we have the execution of the business process through a graphical user interface and also by a REST API. So this is more or less the overview regarding the Compel generic enabler. And then the last thing will be to show a small presentation. we're going to validate as. I'm going to have the control of the screen, and
Jesus, I think that I will change the presenter. I will set you as the presenter.
okay, thank you, Mauro.
So at that point, I think that you will simply have to share your screen, and it is done.
Okay. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we see.
Okay. So, in this case, we're to validate us inside this is the first screen of the compel. As you can see, is based on the activity.
Sorry, Jesus, just to be clear for everyone, because I don't think it is obvious. What we are demonstrating here is the standalone compel generic enabler. So it is not exactly the specific enabler, because it is not, this integration is not ready as of today. It will be before the end of this month, but what you see here is compel, while when this component will be integrated inside the FITMAN specific enabler, you will have a different form of sign-on. Going to the single sign-on, you will not log in directly to the activity engine. So just to be clear on that. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you to you for the clarification. Okay, this is a presentation of compel GE. Okay, we're going to validate us inside the platform. The user in this case will be Kermit. We log in inside the component. Here you see if any of you is familiarized with the activity. This is basically the same interface that is provided by activity. The main options we have in the top of the screen, we have the task, the processes, and also to manage the different business processes. In this case, the idea of this presentation is to create a new business process. The idea at the beginning is to have a basic business process, mainly composed by one start point, one task, and then one point to finalize the process. So we need to go to the model workspace, and here we have several business processes that they have created before, but now we are going to create a new model. In this case, we need to assign a name. We are going to put FITMAN business process. Also, we can put a description, but it's not mandatory. So we create the new business process, and we go directly to the editor. Here, in the left of the screen, we have all the different notation that we can use to create the business process. We have the start events, the activities. As you can see, we have the user activities, user tasks, service tasks, more related to the web services. We can have an script task, business rule task, task specifically to receive to send an email. Also, we have structural notations, gateways, boundary, intermediate, artifacts, and also the events. Then in the middle we have the editor, and on the right we have the Lex with semantic plugin. This is the main feature that is offered by compel and is totally integrated with the activity. So we're going to start to create a new business process from scratch. We can put an start event. Okay. Also, we're going to have one activity. One activity in this case will be a service task, because one web service will be in charge to execute this task, and to finalize we are going to put an end event. So when we have the completion of the business process, we're going to join all of them in order in which they are will executed. So first the start event will be initialized. It will call the service task, and then the service task will task the final event. Then, once we have the composition of the business processes, we will allocate the necessary attributes of each of the activities or tasks. First of all, we're going to assign the name for these business processes. We're going to call FITMAN BP, and also the process identifier FITMAN. Yeah. Okay. This is for the overall processes. Then we're going to put the different attributes for all the different steps or activities in these business processes. We can select the start event, and in this case we're going to put here the name start, also the identification, and in this case it's important to put this attribute, the form properties, because it will be able to pass one initial parameter to the service. In this case, we're going to add one. In this case, it will be a field for a form, a specific form, that it will be able to us to put an initial parameter to send to the service task. In this case, will be the ID of the product. The name will be the product. The type of this parameter will be a string, and the variable could be also the same in the product. So if we need to have more parameters to send to the service, we can put here, but in this case it's enough with this one. And then we can put the attributes of the second one. In this case it will be enough with the name. This business process will be focused basically to know if one product is in stock or not. So is available. The name could be this one. Okay. And it will be this simple business processes. We are going to start here. We will send a parameter to this task. It will be in charge to call a specific web service. After the annotation, we will try to annotate in Node, and then depending on the result of the response of the web service, we can know if this product is in stock or not. So now the idea is to annotate semantically this task. Okay, to do that we need to go here to delete with semantics. In this case we can load a new ontology, okay, or charge another one, but in this case we're going to use one that is existing now in our repository. Is the logistic v2. Then we select in the combo and we load the ontology. So once he is loaded in the in the screen, we can navigate through the hierarchical architecture. Okay, as we can see, it has different annotations to put to the service. So as you know, the semantic list based on the triplets, we are going to annotate the task which call is available. First of one, we are going to select in the ontology the functional classification root, activity type, and we're going to put that in this case it will be the storage. Then here, when we have selected which annotation we want to put, we need to annotate as functional classification. Then we can put the at, and then it's reflected here in the functional classification of the task. So next step is to annotate the input and also the output of this task. So for this, we are going to navigate again inside the ontology. We're going to select in the entity. In this case, we have decided that it will be an entity, also an spatial entity, and inside this one, we're going to put that the input for this task will be a movable resource. So we proceed in the same way. Here we can select the input in the annotation type, and we add this annotation for the input of this task. And finally, we're going to select the last one for the output. It will be also spatial entity, but in this case it will be is available in. So we select here in the 3, and we assign the output. As you can see here, we have the annotation for the output, also for the input, also for the functional classification, and all of these annotations are stored in the database. Now we can close the modeler to verify that this correctly annotated. First of all, we save, and then we can close, and we select again the new business process created. Is this one. Now we can edit this business process, and now we can verify that this task is still annotated with the functional classification, also the input and output. So next step is to find some services that will be able to execute this task. So we can go here. After the output, we have a link that he says search. We can click in this link, and here in the service operation we can see the list of the different services that can offer or can execute this task. In this case, we have a service called stock, and which operation is available. So we can select this service, and to finalize, we need to have the binding among the service with the task, and we can execute the binding. So in this case, the process is totally finished, and then the next step now is to deploy this service in the engine to proceed to his execution. So now we can close again, we can save, and no, we close again the service. And then in the model workspace, we can select the service, and now we proceed with the exportation of the model. As you can see here, we have two options, export model and export model with compel. The first one is just the VPN file, that it doesn't contemplate any annotation and any binding with the services. We're going to export first of all this version. We can open directly. Okay, now we can see here the VPN file ready to deploy in the VPN engine and to execute them. This is the clean version, and then we're going to proceed to export with the compel model. Okay, here as you can see there is a new version for the compel model, and then we can see here that he's contemplating the form elements. The first one where is the product that is going to pass to the task. Also we have here the importation of the WSDL of the service, of the stock service. Okay, and also we have here all the binding for all the operations and all the message that we're going to contemplate in the call, in the execution of this VPN. So now here, next step is to have a small change. We need to add the file and to change the form property in the extension elements. 1 second. Here we can go file, save as. I need to save in this because there is only in React mode. For example, in the desktop, we create a new folder called compel, and here we can save the file, XML file, and then we need to have a small change here. Extension elements. Wait a second. Okay. I'm doing the changes in the file. Is extension elements. Okay. Well, I can save now. Well, so okay, I have some problems to have this change in the file because I don't know, because you can write inside it, but this is the same service, so we can continue with this. So the idea, once we have the development done, we need to deploy this process, okay, in the activity engine to proceed to the execution. So we can go here to the manage, we can go to deployments, and we need to load the new development that we have done. We're going to choose a file. We're going to the project FITMAN your BPM. Well, in this case, we need to choose the file and to upload it, but because I haven't do any changes in the file, we're going to get the process that is developed, that is this one, and then the new step is to execute this file. So we go into the processes, we select the test stock, and then we initialize the execution. In this case, the logic of this web service, they returns a Boolean value. It could be a 0 or at 1. If we put, well, we're going to start the execution, and this is the form that we put before. The only number, the only product that it returns at 1, that it means that it's in stock, is the 0001. In this case, we are going to put another number, the number 3, and we can start the process. Okay, we can go. In this moment, we don't know where is stopped the processes, but we can go to my instances. In this case, we're going to see the console. Okay, here we can see that the reference of the product we have sent the number 3, but it returns a 0, that it means that it's not available, this product. Now we're going to execute again, and in this case we're going to put the correct number. So the results of the execution of the web service could be the number 1, that it means that this product is already in stock. So we execute the process, and now we can see in the console that in this case the reference of the product is the number 1, and the return of the web service is that it's already in stock. So this is the basis of the how to create and how to deploy a new business process in the activity application, with the annotations for the execution in the runtime to call the specific services for an automatic task. And now the idea is to show you one more complex business processes. In this case is already done because we need some time to create these business processes. As you can see here, the first task is also related, is the same task that we have used in the previous business processes. In this case, also when we start the process, it will be asked for a specific number of the product. The logic will be the same, only the number 1 will be in stock. So it will be go here to this gateway. If the results it will be the number 1, it will be proceed to the new human task. In this case, that will be ask us for another number. It will be, for example, to customize this product. And if the result is that the resource is as number 0, that it means that it's not in stock, it will be go again to the first step. So in the case that it is really in stock the product, and also the customization, it will be okay. We can go to the manufacturing order and to proceed to in this case it will means that we are able to have this product for a specific order and to send to the consumer. But if in this case the user change the first code of the product, okay, not in the number of the customization, the results will be to finalize the task, okay, with a human task. It will be to send an email or to cancel the order or to have a new petition for this number of product. To buy some units or a new pallet. So we're going to execute these processes, okay? We're going to start the process. He asked again regarding the number of the product that we're going to order. In this case, we're going to put the number 2. And then he said that has started correctly, but we don't know where is stopped. So we can go here to my instances, and we can see that in this case the business process is stopped in the validated stock. So has created a new task for this user, for the Kermit, and then here we have all the values of the different variables. He says that we have sent the number 2, and the return of the operation, the return of the web service in this case is a 0. That it means that there is not any stock for this product. Then the next action is to go to the task of this user. Here in the top of the screen we have a new tab called task. We can go here, and as we can see, we can put again the number of the product. If we put also another number that is not in stock, for example the number 6, we can complete the task. And if we go to the processes, to the my instance, it will be located in the same place, because there is also a product that there is not exist. So now go to the task of this user, and now we're going to put the correct number, the number 1. We complete this task, and if we go to the processes and to the instances, we now can see that this is in another phase. So in this case, we are located in another human task that he asked regarding the number of the product for the customization. Now we can go again to the task of this guy, and as you can see here in the form, he's presented the product that is now is correct, the number 1, and they ask now for the number of the customization of this product. Here we can put another number number. In this case, there is not any importance. Okay. And then we're going to execute this task. Now, if the process works correctly, so the process has finished because we have maintained the initial product, and then we have put the number of the customization that this is not contemplated in any case. We can execute again this process. Okay, we're going to now go directly to the number 1.
Jesus, sorry to interrupt you, but we are going very, very late. So just to be sure, are we very near to the conclusions? Otherwise, we will not have any time for the questions and answer slot.
This is the last demonstration. It's just
okay, thank you.
Half a second. So now we go to the instance. The product is correct. Now go to the task, and if we change here the initial product and put the number of the customization, we go to the processes and to the my instances, and here we can see that the manufacturing order has discarded this order and is waiting for the user to finalize the business process. So we can go here, and in this case there is only it will be to send an email or to do any order, but in this case there is not any action to do. And then we can go to the processes, and we can see that the business process has been finished. So this is more or less that the demo I want to show you, and then Mauro will offer to have question and answer. Okay, thank you, Mauro.
Thank you, Jesus. This is basically all the interesting part, because all let's say that what is missing from this presentation regarding the specific enabler is the user profiling. So how different user roles can do different things on the platform. But anyway, the core functionalities are these, and as you have seen, the most significant extensions to the activity engine are in the modeling part, while the execution part is mostly the standard activity engine that some of you might already be familiar with. Now, I think that we are very late, so now we have the questions and answer slot. So please, if you have any question you want to ask, be free to. Okay, no questions, it seems. So hopefully this means that we have been very, very clear.
You're always positive, Mauro.
Yes, I am positive. I am positive. Okay, this webinar will be published. I mean, the PowerPoint file and also the recording will be published as soon as possible on the FITMAN website. And I will send you an email to acknowledge this, so that if you wish, you might download this material. So thank you very much for your attention, and I hope we will hear something from you soon about this. Goodbye to everyone. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.